Welcome along in everybody to the Red Card Radio news episode. We hope this is the one-stop shop, the one place you need to come for news in and relating to the English Premier League and other things that we find interesting that we want to talk about and they don't really fit in anywhere else. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That's Brad over there. He supports Chelsea. And down below, that's Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. We are at the end of the footballing season. So we're maybe a little short on news. I don't know. Maybe we'll find something to talk about today. What was that chuckle for, Brad?
Somehow we always find things to talk about, sir.
Yeah. Well, speaking of something to talk about, you sent me a text message earlier today that claimed Chelsea was going to make 280 million euros in player sales this summer. Do you care to defend that claim now on the Red Card Radio news episode?
We're starting there. Okay.
Yeah. We're starting with Chelsea. Okay. I forgot to put it on the rundown, so I kind of threw a curveball there.
Yeah, you nailed me right in the face with that curveball.
Yeah, sometimes
it's there now. I missed it. I see it's on the rundown. It's on me.
I just typed it. That was me. Just did it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool docs. Love it. All right, so let's do this. So, all right.
So a little context, because obviously if you have been following the Premier League, Chelsea finished 12th and they've got about 45 players on their first team squad. And they're about to go bankrupt if they don't sell players or something like that. Something like that, right?
Not bankrupt. We got money. We just can't spend the money anymore. But we haven't said the big news. We kind of buried the headline here.
Oh, did we?
Pochettino is officially the Chelsea manager as of July 1st.
Wait, he's not even coming in until July 1st?
Technically, because of how his contract is with PSG. That he can't start until July 1st.
He's kind of like...
But he's there. He's already making decisions. He's already doing things. He might not be at the club, but he's in London. Like, yeah, cut him. Yeah, sell him. Yeah, I don't want him.
It's kind of like you guys he's still technically a PSG employee. And so like when his contract ends with PSG, he's still getting paid by PSG. So they didn't give him like a lump sum, but they just kind of put him on like a furlough essentially or something like that.
Yep.
Interesting.
Very, right?
Okay, so Pochettino's July 1st. Congratulations. That was the least best. That was a terribly kept secret. Everybody knew that was happening.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Pochettino is making decisions. João Felix has been sent home. We are not purchasing João Felix.
His loan ended.
Yeah.
He wasn't sent packing. His loan was up, so he went back to this club that loaned him.
Yes, Brad.
There was lots of talk of Chelsea trying to make it permanent because Atleti no longer want João Felix. They just want too much money for him.
Okay, well here I have a question for you. Were those legitimate rumors, or were those is that just his agent?
There were tier 1, tier 2 sources. Yes. For Chelsea.
I guess my only point about that is like that to me is, it just screams of like just agent propaganda and Atleti propaganda per se.
Also, Todd loves Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes and him are buddies.
Yeah, they got to cut that out. That'll come by. The agent, being friends with agents is what gets you £72 million Nicola Pepe.
Yeah. Well, that's what got you a João Felix loan. I think that was part of the deal. Hey, I'll help get the Enzo over the line, but I need you to take my boy for a little bit.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
He's also helping us buy a club in Portugal, apparently, too.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that. I hate the idea of a club buying another club. I think that's terrible. But go through this list. So there's a bunch of players. There's a bunch of players that apparently Chelsea need to sell.
I'm starting from the bottom. The 2 loans ended. Zachariah, we had a purchase option in his loan. We did not exercise it. João Felix ended his loan. Loftus-Cheek, they have on here, and this is, I think I said it was Daily Mail. Yeah, it was Daily Mail that posted this. With what we're looking to get back. Loftus-Cheek, we're trying to get 25 mil out of AC Milan. I see maybe half that.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
It seems a lot, right? This Chalobah, I disagree with 25 mil. I think that's a lot more. I think much closer to 40.
Hold on, but are you actually selling him to Inter? So it here has listed
it has
Chalobah to Inter.
Yeah, I think, let's say Inter probably has registered interest in him. I don't know. These are the clubs that have probably been like.
Is he English?
These are the clubs where they would go. Yes, he is. He's academy graduate, English baller.
So he could claim like a homegrown spot on a Premier League. I think he would go for more if he stayed in England.
And he's 5. He's been playing in the Prem for like 3 years too, like with Chelsea. Like, okay, cool. Last year doesn't really count, right? But like, Chelsea have been a great squad while he's been there. So I think 40 mil as a defender, as Chalobah, is a lot more valuable. Gallagher at 40 mil is probably right.
I think that's too high for him.
Forget English tax.
Yeah, I still think that's too high for him.
I'd actually kind of like to keep Gallagher. I like his hustle, like his pressing. Like he will, like, I mean, the rest of the players will catch up with his hustle if what I've read about Poch is correct, and that like our boys are going to run this summer. That's what they're going to do. Mason Mount, 75 mil. Couple of clubs involved there. I think that's probably right. I think the quote is like 80 is what we're telling people, but I think they settle for 75.
All right, so let me ask you this, Sean. Would you take Mason Mount for £75 million at Tottenham?
Absolutely not.
I think that's way too much for him.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely crazy.
I don't think you're getting 70 out of him, dude.
Chelsea's player of the year for 2 seasons in a row.
Okay, but he's been riddled by injuries over the last year and a half.
And as voted on by his teammates. Like,
as both.
Because he's a good
players, teammates.
Teammates, coaches, and fans. A good locker room dude doesn't mean he's a good footballer.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible take on that.
You can't look at your club and say Mason Mount's our best player the last 2 years in a row.
2 of the last 3 years, yes.
It's not, it's not Silva. It's not, there's a handful of.
Who?
It's not Reese.
Thiago Silva is what he said.
Oh, Thiago won it this year.
It's not Reese. Like over the past 3 years, like
Reese,
you know what I'm saying? Like you can't
for that. This has been Mason Mount's.
I don't think you can look at your club and just say, "Oh yeah, it's Mason Mount's the best player." And if you do look at your roster and you say Mason Mount's our best player, that's a problem. Like that's with how much money you invest into the roster and Mason Mount's your best player, that's a problem.
I think you're absolutely crazy. I think Tottenham would take him in a second at 75 million.
Okay, so that's the question. Like, would you take him? Yes, but at 75 million, that's like you're getting to like Caicedo territory right there. And I think Caicedo probably has a higher ceiling than Mason Mount does. In terms of versatility, like the positions he can play, even just being a central midfielder, I think Caicedo is probably more of like, because like your Mason Mount's like an attacking midfielder, like he's an 8-10 winger. That's kind of like a dying breed, like that's not So I guess what I'm saying is like in the attacking,
he's more of an 8 than a 10.
Is he though?
I think so.
You think he's more box to box? I'm not sure I agree with that personally, but I don't think he's got the defensive profile to be a great box to box midfielder.
He's an 8, he says. So using that, you with your own eyeballs watch Tottenham play and say he is better than Højbjerg and Bentancur.
Yes.
I'm not sure he's better than Bentancur.
Yes.
You want to talk to me about Skip? I got you. I can hear that argument. You want to talk to me about Sarr? You got me. I'll hear that argument. He's not better than Højbjerg.
He's
definitely not better than Bentancur. He's just not.
Psychotic.
Flatly.
Oh, we'll see.
That being said, we can argue Mason Mount for a while.
Yep. Let's keep going.
The rest of the list is probably pretty accurate. Like just scanning up it,
I think
pretty close.
Kovacic is not 35 million. How old is Kovacic?
29.
29. And 7 UCL finals. Yeah, he's worth 35 mil.
I don't know. I don't think you're getting that much for him. He's been injured. He is
Oba to the MLS. I am here for this. I want Oba at Charlotte FC. I would get Oba jersey.
You're getting a free on that.
Probably.
Well, the problem is with Oba is that his wages are just too high. And so nobody's willing to pay what Oba wants to be paid and a transfer fee on top of that. The fact, didn't you guys paid a transfer fee to Barcelona for him, right? 12.
Yeah.
You guys think that
I don't think it was a lot though.
Criminal.
Yeah.
Apparently it's this thing that you sent us says 12 million euros.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's criminal.
Which is everything isn't a lot, let's be real.
Mendy 25 is probably accurate.
Yeah.
He would be a high-end goalkeeper in Italy. That is a good purchase for Inter.
Yeah, or Nice. Back to France. Yeah, that's where.
You know what I'm saying? Mendy is a high-end goalkeeper in other leagues.
He only comes to Inter if somebody buys Inter's goalie.
Onana. But how much is he going to cost?
Oh, we make 280 mil, then we Gucci, bro.
I don't know.
You can say that. I don't know. Apparently, we almost have our third signing, second signing.
Who?
I don't know how we want to word this. Coming in Ugarte.
Who is this?
Sporting's.
He's like a fullback.
Center mid.
Oh,
he's a CDM. Gusto is coming in from Lyon, but that's kind of like a loan because we bought him in January. And Cuckoo comes in. Those are our first, technically, 2 new signings. And then third, Ugarte. Ziyech, he can go for less than 15 mil. I don't care. He can leave. 25 mil for Pulisic seems criminal. But that's probably what we'll end up getting from him. I think most of it's profit, though. Most of these sales is profit. So Mount is straight profit, Gallagher straight profit, Chalobah straight profit, Loftus-Cheek is straight profit.
I don't see a world that Pulisic fetches 25 abroad.
Yeah, agreed.
And I especially with Juve's luck with Weston McKennie, I do not think they are going to be eager to spend 25 million on another American. And unfortunately, I don't know how much they read into the nationality of the player, but they might have a slightly bad taste in their mouth from not getting what they thought they would.
Weston, I think, played fairly well for Juventus.
Did a really good job there.
I think that for the year and a half he was there, 2.5 years, however long Weston was at Juventus. I think that they would probably be pretty pleased with what they got out of him.
Oh, he's coming back. What do you mean? He's still there.
Yes, technically he's a Juventus player, but I don't think that lasts long term. Maybe he does, man. I don't know. I guess the question is, can they get somebody to pay 30 million for him? I don't know if they will.
And maybe you'll get a little bit more out of him if you bring in Pulisic for the 25 mil.
I think the idea of Pulisic to Napoli would be just if they lose that very long last name that begins with a K, because they both play the same position. So, I think that would be assuming they lose him in the summer.
Juventus is currently leading the race. That's what ESPN and all the other sources have said. And it's 20 mil. I don't think this list is crazy off. I think it's probably maybe 5-10 mil off, either plus or minus. And if we do, then fantastic. That's a great summer of clear out.
You need a positive. You need a profit this summer. So if you get back 250 million and spend 100 of it on a new player, I think you're happy with $150 million positive net spend summer after last year.
Yeah. Especially it's by amortization. That would be a 230 million pound profit. 100 million over 5 years. It would be 20 mil a year. But I mean, we have like straight profit in terms of books. Aspilicueta has been here long enough. Whatever money we get is profit. Hudson Odoi, profit 10 mil. Ooh, that seems low, but okay. Mount, Gallagher, Chalobah, Loftus-Cheek, straight profit. So we have over between them. That's even at these 175 million, 180 with Aspie. So, like,
you're claiming like you're what you're arguing is like 2/3 of those sales would just be pure profit.
Yeah, because they're academy.
Almost all of this is riding on the 75 million for Mason Mount that I am not entirely sure.
Well, you take out the 75
happens.
mil for Mason Mount. Take out the 75 mil for Mason Mount, and it's still 105. So like we're fine. FFP is fine. And I think Chalobah is low. So let's say we're 15 mil off on Mount, and it's 60 mil, right? Chalobah we're probably 15 mil off too, and that's 40.
Would I want Arsenal to spend 60 million on Mason Mount?
Apparently you do.
I think I'd still rather have Rice and Caicedo.
I think you'd rather have have Odegaard.
Why would Arsenal, who want to keep ESR, pay $70 million for Mason Mount to back up?
Yeah,
to back up ESR. I mean, they have Odegaard and ESR. Like, if they're going to keep ESR, there's no point for them to get Mason Mount. They play the same position.
Agreed.
I agree with you. But if they're rumored, but it might help with the last ditch Rice pitch to keep him from going from Bayern.
If it takes Mason Mount, if it takes Mason Mount to come to the club for Declan Rice to want to come as well, then Declan Rice can enjoy Germany. Like I don't need you at my squad if you need your best friend on the team. What I would really need, if that was the situation, I would need Xhaka to stay at the club for another year to just beat that out of him. Because that ain't gonna play. That ain't gonna play. We don't need that. And if that's Rice's mentality, then I don't need him at my squad, in my club.
Boys, we missed the Tottenham news.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
We did have some Tottenham news this week that was reported by High Level.
Yeah. This is a big one too, I think.
Respected sources, almost. That we were turned down by a director of football that was out of Germany. I can't remember specifically which club he was with. Turned down by him because, in his words, the role was not very defined well when he met with the club. And I read that headline and thought, if that's not the most Tottenham thing I've ever heard. I didn't want the director of football at Tottenham role because I didn't know what I was going to do on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, that's too funny.
Wow.
That's too
strong
funny.
like both.
Why am I not surprised by that? Why am I not surprised?
I don't think any of us that was like the least shocking news we've heard from Tottenham.
That's the most non-news news ever. Yeah, that's yeah. So there we go. That's how our head coach, our manager position is going right now.
So I was gonna say this. So which is Daniel Levy? So does he hire the manager then the director?
Probably.
I mean, he needs to hire a manager. Like, that's obviously the 1A is manager, in my opinion, coach. I mean, if he had planned this better, he would have already hired a director of football. I think he really feels screwed that with this Paratici situation. I think he was really in on Paratici and felt comfortable there. And then when the wheels came off that bus, it really threw him for a loop.
So he's suspended for a year, right?
2.
I don't know, 18 months maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. It's a while.
So is maybe Levy's idea, like, maybe that's why it wasn't very well defined, because his idea is when he's off suspension, he's just going to bring him back.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Like he's just leaving the role vacant because Paratici is going to come back into that role. I mean,
if that was the situation, I would want some really clear commitments from Paratici that's something that he is even interested in, because in 2 years Paratici's not like his first love is probably football, but he could get a job in other sectors, right? So like I would imagine there's nothing stopping Paratici from just like going and getting a job for another corporation as a director of something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he knows football, but like I'm sure that those skill sets transfer. They are transferable to other disciplines. Um,
Yeah, I knew this manager search was going absolutely to end in disaster when it was reported that I guess Arne
Sloot,
Slot.
I'm Slut.
something like
Um,
that.
I just didn't want to oversimplify it and just say slot because I'm sure that's not it. But um, I knew this was going to end in disaster when that fell apart because he wanted control of the roster and Levy wouldn't give it to him. And I was like, what manager wants to come here and play for this guy after they've seen how he treated Jose and seen how he treated Conte? And then you tell a manager, yeah, we'd like you to come manage our club. Okay, well, I'd like to stay over the players. No. Okay, go away then. Like
Yeah,
I've seen what you've done to the people.
he's obviously looking for the more modern like European model. Like he doesn't want a manager like kind of dictating what's going on. Um, he needs to get a yes man. The perfect yes man for him is Graham Potter.
That is actually happening.
Yeah, I saw there's interest.
Yeah, I saw
I
there's
don't
interest as
particularly
well.
want that.
I don't know. I think Graham Potter. I think Graham Potter could be a good hiring. I think other managers out there that have the chops to take over Tottenham. I think Brendan Rodgers is a legitimate option. Um, Graham Potter, and you've been high on Raf Hasenhüttl in the past. So I think that he's an option. He's available. I don't know if
I
he's. I think I would rather take Potter or Brendan Rodgers over Hasenhüttl, but
I liked Potter for a while until he got to Chelsea and said out loud, we don't have a style. We change our style every week." Oh, okay. Well, you need a base style, buddy. You need to start somewhere. Like maybe definitely make adjustments, but like we can't just be running 16 different formations in a season. Like pick something that is your base. Like this is our style of football. We will make adjustments based on what is put in front of us. I don't expect him to be Conte, rigid, uh no substitutions before the 78th minute. Like I don't want the same predictable football that I got from Jose and Conte. I don't need that. But uh, dude, just trotting out five straight different lineups with different formations clearly didn't work at Chelsea.
true.
Well, yeah, but also like at Brighton, he didn't tinker that much. He also didn't have 35 players. Like, hold on, I
Yeah.
have the Sky. Did I send you guys the Sky Sports like lineup without? No, I sent it to the wrong group. The Sky
I,
Sports squad depth for Chelsea this year.
I will like stall so you can find that. But so but yeah, there is something to be said, Brad, that Chelsea does have enough players and he was fresh enough into the role that he did need to find what he wanted to do. So there is something to be said for that, where he's just playing around with things until he finds a combination he likes. Then that probably would have been the base. So he does not have that problem at Tottenham, I can assure you.
All right, all right. From January, and this is everybody healthy, right? So there's some people in here that probably wouldn't be, but center forward Kai Havertz, Oba, Broja, Datro Fofana, left wing Sterling, Pulisic, Mudryk, attacking midfielder Mason Mount, Chukwuemeka. I'd argue João Felix fits there more than at right wing. Ziyech, Maduk at right wing. Central midfielder and DMs. I'm going to group them all together because I don't think Conte is a DM either. Kovacic, uh, Enzo, Loftus Cheek, Gallagher, Conte, Zachariah. Left back, Ben Chilwell, Cucurella, Lewis Hall. Center backs, Koulibaly, Badishil, Thiago Silva, Chaloba, Wesley Fofana. Right back, Reece James, Cesar Spilicueta. Goalkeeper, only two options, Kepa and Mendy. Um, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. 30 players.
That's a lot. It's a lot of people.
So, like, I wouldn't judge Graham on his time at Chelsea. He did what he could.
We will. That was a longer conversation than I anticipated it being. But we will definitely over the next couple weeks and months be talking about transfers and things like that. Quick mention for you, the FA Cup. We've got Manchester United and Manchester City. It's the first Manchester derby in the FA Cup final. That takes place on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, either Saturday or Sunday. But it's this weekend coming up. So City are going for part 2 of their treble push. Of course, they still have the Champions League final coming up as well. So should Manchester City win that, they will be 2 for 3 on their treble hunt. If Manchester United win it, that would be 2 for 2 for them for domestic cups. So that would be a domestic cup double for Manchester United this year, which would be quite a feat for them as well. So who do you guys have in that final? Who you guys taking?
Oh gosh. Do I want a City treble? I hate United. So yeah, I want a City treble.
Okay, so what's the score?
3-0 City.
Oh my goodness. That's a big one. Sean?
Yeah, I think that's close to right. 3-1 City.
Okay. I am going to take 1-1, and I'm going to take City 4-3 on penalties.
Wow.
I think this game is much tighter. I think this game is much tighter than you guys think. I don't think City blow them away.
It's a rivalry game, yeah.
I mean, the first time they played early in the season, City annihilated United, but the second time they played, it was much, much closer. And so I think that United will be much more of a sterner test. It will be much more reminiscent of the Old Trafford game, is what I'm trying to say. Quick note on F1, we had the Monaco Grand Prix. It was boring until it was chaotic. And
it was boring again.
Oh boy, did it get crazy at the end. Around lap 54, 53, maybe around like lap 49, they started mentioning some rain in certain sectors, and by lap 55, it was just like, it seemed like it was a torrential downpour. And so there was a lot of the teams were coming in to swap onto intermediate tires, and then they all swapped onto wet tires. It was a absolutely crazy last, or like 10 or 15 laps in the middle there when it was raining really heavily towards the end. Fernando Alonso ultimately finished second behind Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen led the entire Grand Prix essentially.
He did.
And so Fernando had a 2-lap stretch where he pitted once on like 54 or 55, and he put mediums on when everyone else was putting intermediate wet tires on. And had he put the intermediate tires on at that point, or the wet tires on at that point, he might have come out of the pit in front of Max, and then it would have been very difficult for Max to pass him because it's Monaco. So a little bit of frustration for Aston Martin in that regard. But it finished Max Verstappen first, Fernando Alonso second. Esteban Ocon finishes third, podium for him. That's quite the weekend. Lewis Hamilton is fourth, and George Russell right at the top 5.
Am I remembering right? He is with Ocon is with
Alpine.
Williams?
Alpine.
It's
an Alpine. And so they had actually a great weekend. He qualified third. So like he started on the grid third, and then I think
kept it.
Pierre Gasly was fourth, or maybe it was one of the Ferraris. I don't remember. One of the
Ocon
Ferraris.
was technically fourth. Leclerc was third, but got a 3-place penalty because he blocked Lando.
Yeah. So Leclerc was started sixth.
I started at the end of the night, and the director, the producing director, was not having any of it of Red Guard Radio. She wasn't having a lick of it, so I had to turn it off. But where was
did you watch qualifying at all? Perez?
No. Where was Perez?
Perez started. He had
he crashed in Q1.
P2 he crashed. Q2.
Gotcha.
He started 15th.
No, Perez started 20th. He crashed in Q1.
The bet. What's the bet?
On where he started?
Yeah.
I don't bet.
He may have started 20th because he could have crashed in P2 and then had to replace something.
I don't think. I'm fairly certain that he crashed out in Q1.
Oh, shit, he did.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2. I thought it was 15th. I said, he's going to get 15th out of this.
Yeah, because you thought he was going to work his way up to 15th, and he was doing well. He pitted on the first lap. So he came out on mediums.
Times.
Came out on mediums, put a hards on lap 2, and was going to take that to the end, but then he just had a terrible race. He ran into people.
Strategy. I thought that was unique.
I think he ran into Hulkenberg at some point. Like not as bad as Lance Stroll was. Lance Stroll was just.
Him and Stroll were competing for who was the worst.
That was a very smart strategy from them too. If he's going to be in the back, let's get him on a second tire early.
Yep.
And let's just let him ride.
Yeah.
We also haven't talked about the biggest part of Monaco. Max on mediums for 55 laps.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that.
What?
Yeah, so Pirelli rated the mediums at anywhere between I think like 31 and 36 laps or something like that. Yeah. Max benefited from the fact that he didn't have to race anyone.
Hold on, he also had 12 seconds between him and Alonso. At the highest, it was between 9 and 12 seconds.
Well, he lost some time before he was losing time. Alonso was gaining time on him as his mediums were degrading and Alonso's hards were sustaining better. But yeah, take nothing away from Max. 55 laps on the mediums before having to switch to the wet tires is impressive.
Yeah, they called it over the radio that Fernando went to the mediums. And then, and you hear Max like, inters, that's all, I need the inters.
Yeah.
Gets him on and just.
Yeah, the next lap.
Baby the car for the rest of the race because it was 24 seconds. Like, that decision by Aston Martin cost them the race.
Which is really strange because they put Lance Stroll on intermediates laps before that. They put Lance on intermediates, you think, to kind of like test them to get an idea for how they were performing comparatively. And then for Alonso to get mediums on or hards or whatever it was mediums. Yeah, it was mediums. He was on hards. Yeah. Like it was a strange pit stop. So update on the constructors. So Mercedes is now only 1 point behind Aston Martin for second. So that's big. Aston Martin kind of keeps pace. These numbers in the rundown aren't correct because I didn't update them. But Aston Martin keeps pace as best they can with Red Bull, but Red Bull is moving up.
There you go.
And then I would say Perez's shot at the drivers' championship is basically over. I think he needed to not have a 0 because I'm not sure that I'm not sure there's going to be a race. Is that a second 0? Did he not finish in one of the races? Yeah, he was it Saudi Arabia? Did he? I don't know.
They've been 1-2.
No, he's got 1-2. He finished 5th in Australia.
Okay, all right.
That's where he was. Yep.
They've been 1-2 almost every race.
Yeah.
4 races, yeah. If they're 1-2 one more time, that ties the record for Red Bull in a single season of having drivers finish 1-2.
Interesting.
And this is what, 7th race? Ebola was canceled, so it's like race week 7.
All right. Well, I think Barcelona's coming up next. It should be this weekend. So qualifying practice qualifying and then race on Sunday. This will be a more interesting race because the teams, a lot of teams are bringing more upgrade packages. Mercedes' upgrade package is apparently really big, and we'll get a really good look at it at Barcelona. I think Aston Martin may have an upgrade package at Barcelona as well, and Ferrari I think is bringing some stuff. Red Bull
Ferrari
also
saved their package.
Red Bull did a little bit. Yeah, it was weird that Mercedes unveiled it at Monaco, but I think they just needed they need as much data as they can get in condition. So, but that should be a good one. That's all we got for the news. Red Card. This is it for Red Card Radio this week. This is our last episode, last release. We will have something next week. We're not entirely sure what that something is yet, but there will be something, at least one episode release. So in order to be alerted to that, you definitely need to ring the sub notification bell if you're on YouTube. And that way you will always be alerted. Make sure your notifications are turned on if you're on the podcast sites and things like that. Hit us up on Twitter. Up top, that's at KSBradG. Down below, it's at Whiteheart_Sean. I'm at James Tiffany, and you can reach us at redcard_radio. And enjoy some, got a little bit of football this weekend, F1 this weekend. I'm sure that baseball. Watch some baseball. Let us know about it in the comments, and we'll talk to you guys and see you guys next week. Have a good one.